Hey guys, thanks for tuning into CMTEQ channel. This is C Programming Learning by Coding tutorial number 17. Now in this tutorial, we're going to see how to compute the sum of natural numbers. Now the program will be asking the user to enter a number. So if the user enter a number, let's say 10. So basically 10 is a series of numbers ranging from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth until 10. You get the picture. So then the program will be adding all these numbers. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 and so forth until we reach number 10. And the result will be displayed on the output console. So that will be the sum of all these natural numbers. So you can even enter a large number like 1,000 and the program will still going to compute the sum of all natural numbers that make up from 1 up until 1,000. So let's see how we're going to achieve it using our C programming. So now to do that, as always, you have to declare your variable definition. So variable declaration. Variable declaration. Now we're going to declare two variables of type integer. One is n and the other variable is sum that's going to hold all the numbers. And we're going to initialize sum is equal to 0. Okay? And after that, we can then ask the user. So we say, please enter a number. Please enter a number. The user need to enter a number. Then we're going to process a calculation based on the number that the user is going to enter. But then we need to handle the number that the user is going to enter by processing it with the scanf function. So that is scanf %t, because the number that the user will enter will be of type integer. So that number is n. Don't forget to reference it there because it's a pointer. Otherwise, your program is not going to execute properly. So now that the user have now entered the number, you can then go ahead and start executing the program. But in order to execute the output of all the sum of the numbers that you are going to compute here, you have to choose either to use an if statement or a while loop. Now the easiest one is to use the while loop because we're only going to have one condition. Let's say we initialize the while loop with a variable I. So we say while I is less or equal to n, we want to do something inside our loop here. But we don't have I yet. I is not yet defined. So which means we need to add another variable I here. So let's just add another variable I. And then we need to initialize it now. Because we not interested in adding 0. Then we can initialize I to be equal to 1. So we're going to say I is equal to 1. Because we're not interested in adding 0. That means our while loop here will start counting from 1, but then it's going to start adding all the numbers. So at this point here, we know that I is already equal to 1. But if 1 is less or equal to n, which the condition is true, we know that 1 is definitely less than n, assuming that the user have entered n to be like 5, 10, or a number that is greater than 1. But if a user enter a 0, the program will not execute, obviously. In that case, we then go ahead and compute the sum of the natural numbers by using sum is equal to plus equal variable I. So what does mean here is we are going to basically add the value of I to I itself. Which value? The increment value. So then we have to add the increment of I here. Okay, so this means next time when this while loop execute, the value of I will be equal to 2. So 2 is less than n, assuming n is 10. That is true. Then the sum here, you will then take the next value of I, which is 2, and add it to the previous value of I, which was 1. So that will then be 3. Then we increment I. I will then be equal to 3. And we're going to then take the 3 and add it to the I. And so forth until we reach I is equal to 10. Okay, then the while loop will still going to execute because 10 is equal to 10. And then we're going to add 10 to the value of I that we already calculated. At this point, when I become 11, the while loop will exit because 11 is definitely not less than 10. That's the value that the user entered. So that will do the magic for us. Now, after here, you can then go ahead and print F outside the while loop, because if you print F inside the while loop, then you're going to basically just print all the series of value. So you just want to print the sum of all the natural numbers. So in this case, you can place your printf value outside the while loop. So you're going to say sum is equal to %d, okay, and then you just pass the value of sum there. Don't forget your semicolon. Now we can go ahead and confidently run this program, and hoping that there is no typo, no errors, no logical error, nothing. Okay, so please enter a number. We're going to say 10. Okay, we need to place a semicolon there for space. So it say the sum is equal to 55. Now let's use a small number. So I'm going to say 3. Please enter 3. So the sum is 6. So if we have 3 numbers, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So 1 plus 2 here will give me 3, and 3 plus 3 will give me 6. So the answer is correct. The answer is correct. That is equal to 6. So if you do, so this one is causing a problem there. So if you compute your number, even with 100, or let's say 11, it says 66. So you should be able to find the correct value. So if you try it with even a bigger number like 100, it will give you 5050. So that is it, guys, for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you've learned anything in this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe to CMTEQ channel. Until next time, cheers.